I'm Margaret Wiltshire from MargaretWiltshire.com, your lifestyle by design strategist. Question: how many of you have ever wanted to try something new, something different? You wanted a new experience, but maybe the idea of doing this new thing was so scary that you never moved forward and took action. Do you know why that is? The answer is quite simple. It's something called fear. Fear can be irrational and paralyzing. It will stop you from moving forward and taking action. All of us have experienced fear, whether it's fear of the unknown, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of success. You know what I'm talking about. We've all experienced some type of fear. I remember before I published my children's book, I was so fearful. I was fearful that people would judge me and think that, my idea sucked and it was lame. I was fearful that the book wouldn't sell. I was fearful that I didn't have the proper tools or skills to write a book. I'd never written a book before, and I didn't think I had book writing skills, whatever that meant at the time. Fear is something that's actually encoded in our DNA. We'd never be able to get rid of it. But we can learn to dance with it, to use it instead of it using us. Martin Luther King Jr. said, our problem is not to be rid of fear, but rather to harness and master it. So I'm going to share with you today 3 tips on how to learn to dance with your fear. Tip number 1, replace that fear with a habit. Let's say you want to write. Write every darn day. Write. Start with a sentence. Go write a blog. You can write an anonymous blog, but start and do it every day, because habits are more powerful than fears. Tip number 2, take a little bit of time and sit and process the fear. Think about, what the benefit is of succumbing to the fear. What it would cost you if you surrendered to this fear, and what would you gain if you danced with the fear. So, for example, let's say you wanted to be a public speaker. I would sit and think, okay, what's the benefit if I don't learn public speaking skills? And I have this great, brilliant idea that I know would change lives and add value to the world. Well, I wouldn't have to do anything, right? I'd be safe. I wouldn't have to get in front of thousands of people and speak to them. What's that going to cost me? Well, this great message that I have that could be life-changing and change the lives of thousands of people and people they touch and their children and generations to come after that, they'll never receive that message. That's a really high price to pay. But what if I learned to dance with my fear and I did the darn thing anyway? Thousands of people would get that message that would change their lives and add value to it. And it would touch the lives of their children and their family and their friends and possibly generations to come. How would that make you feel? You'd be doing what you were meant to do, right? It would feel great. You're delivering value and changing the world, ultimately. Maybe it might be better to learn to dance with that fear. And the 3rd tip, dare to suck, as my coach Robin says. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first, right? So do the thing that you're afraid of. Look fear in the eye and say, I'm going to dance with you and I'm going to do this thing. It's said that success is the first attempt after failure. And the biggest failure is never to attempt it again. Fear is an emotional state, and you can control that state. You can learn to have a dance party with your fear and learn to use it instead of it using you. So, I'd like to know, have you overcome any of your fears, or are you still coping with it? Please share your experience in the comments below. Now go out there, have an awesome day, and do something epic! Woo, 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 woo! Dance with your fear, dance with your fear, dance with your fear. Dance with your fear. I'm Margaret Wiltshire from MargaretWiltshire.com.